Bumps at mysterious.americanmcgee.com. The world is full of friends with fur who fill our lives with woofs and purrs, who seek our love and pets and snacks, and if you're cruel, they won't fight back. Well, if you harm your dog or cat, well, Scruffy Bumps does not like that. He moves about through darkened places, learning names and hunting faces.
Scruffy Bumps loves all his friends, and Scruffy Bumps will take revenge, and Scruffy Bumps knows where you are, and Scruffy Bumps is never far away.
Get your Scruffy Bumps at mysterious.americanmcgee.com. The world is full of friends with fur who fill our lives with woofs and purrs, who seek our love and pets and snacks, and if you're cruel, they won't fight back. Well, if you harm your dog or cat, well, Scruffy Bumps does not like that. He moves about through darkened places.
Hello, people of the internet.
Hello,
I am American McGee,
I'm Martin.
and we are coming to you live from the underground lair in Shanghai. Do you notice anything different today, Martin?
We look especially handsome.
We do. It's because we have a background, backlit, top light. I don't know, something. What did you just... Oh, you okay. We do have a new piece of lighting in the room today. I don't know. For years, when we were live streaming, I always thought that we should have this more news studio style, like top light, and I just never got around to installing it. Anyway,
You can see it on my head.
it makes your head especially shiny. Sorry about that.
Trying to get rid of that.
It does make you look good, though. Your head, you need that.
That's
It's where your brain is.
Get rid of it.
All right. Good morning to all of you there in the chat. I do see a lot of familiar names like Craig Spurlock, and I saw Jennifer Daw is in there. Octo Chicken, of course.
Greg's here. Lucas Severin, Magna Gamer.
Some new names is Delfonso. Is that new? I feel like
Maybe.
that's new.
Hello, Delfonso.
And underscore dot space Psy says hi.
Fizipma. Click your clicky kitty kitty.
And there is Ray/Desert Phoenix. Well, greetings to all.
Lots are here.
It's true. And for those of you who did celebrate Indigenous Abuse Day, Thanksgiving, we did have that here in Shanghai, although there really aren't any Indigenous people to abuse here. But we did celebrate it. We had some turkey. Now, you didn't come over because you're British and you're distinctly uninvited to our American holidays.
And it was a house full of screaming children.
It was a house. Actually, it was a backyard full of screaming children.
Okay.
But anyway, we did eat turkey and we had a fine turkey day. And so if you also enjoyed that, then happy turkey day to you.
Yeah.
Yay. So we're back again today. We do have a lot. There's a lot to get through. We have a ton of art that the team has been producing for Alice Asylum. We have a narrative outline update to take a look at. We have Plushy Dreadful designs to take a look at that are new prototypes. We also have some new things that got launched into the shop. And speaking of, what's the prize for today?
It's that.
It's this. So we're going to give away 4 of this. This is the Rage Rabbit. I wasn't holding on.
God damn it.
It would be hilarious if you did that and like his ears just ripped off.
The entire head came off. We make quality stuff.
Well, you saw that was a good quality
look,
test there.
What just
I
happened?
saw that. It's working.
We'll mention that.
So anyway, this is a rage rabbit. So underneath his rage, he hides a face of sadness and pain, which is how it usually is with rage. We did just add these to the Mysterious shop. They're selling really, really well. And you show off the little rage head. Stop jerking around with it in your whatever you're doing there.
Put it like there.
There you go. So we will give away 4 of these today. And we also have, don't let me forget, there is major stuff happening with Alice.
Shush.
So I'm not allowed to say anything.
Wait, I didn't sign an NDA.
No, you shouldn't say it either. It applies to the whole team. But I will So we'll talk about this in a little while. I will say that I was asked for my quote for the press release this morning. So if you know anything about how corporate America works and you know about when deals are getting done, you know that a press release coincides the announcement, right, of the deal. So I got an email this morning, said, give us your quote for this press release for this event related to Alice. And so we'll talk about that in a little bit on the live stream today as well. But
in
first,
as secretive a way as possible.
yeah, it's going to be one of those like...
Trust us.
It's not about trust us. It's, I can't tell you exactly where, how, when, or who, but something happened. So get ready for that.
All right.
Why didn't you wear, see, I'm wearing this shirt. My wife has made these lovely, so I tried to get Martin to wear that shirt and he refused. He said he was too hot. I'm wearing one. I'm wearing the Rage Rabbit one. So I don't know if they're actually in the shop yet, but Yin, my lovely wife, made those. We're taking our business away from Printful because they're hot garbage.
They literally take like 90% plus of your sales money.
And they apparently give it to child labor farms in Timbuktu. I don't know. But anyway, we're not using Printful anymore. We're using my wife. And
At the end.
she's making these nice hoodies and shirts by herself now. And anyway, I'm wearing one.
All right. So, for all of y'all out there, you may have noticed we had a big old bronze-looking dice thing turn up in the middle of the screen. We're trying to become more fancy with streaming.
That's why I installed that light above our heads.
Yeah, and so we've installed a, what is it, like an alert box doodad?
We've only been streaming for like 3 years before we finally
And we've
start
installed an alert box doodad.
That's how you know we're getting serious. No. Oh, boy.
So if it becomes super annoying, we may turn it off.
This is true.
But yeah, you may see giant spinning dices at some point. You might also hear a sound effect, because we have a countdown timer now on the stream deck for prize time.
Am I going to die again?
Yeah, everyone dies.
They do. I had I wrote about that a little bit on Instagram and Twitter recently because somebody had said, oh, why is it that Alice is always suffering and being abused? And I wrote and I said, that is life. Life is suffering. And the best that you can hope for is that you turn the suffering into moments of opportunity for transformation with a little bit of luck. You can do that. And a lot of people said, so true. That's very true. Life is suffering.
What else we got? Oh yeah, we have a mute button. Hey guys, let us know if this works.
What are you
I'm
doing?
speaking. And now we're back.
Did it work?
Did that work?
I think it worked.
I think it worked.
We've never had a mute button before.
We've never needed one.
But I feel like having it is dangerous because it gives you this false sense of security that like you could press that and then say whatever you want and we would
Boobs, wee wee.
And then you know what would happen though is that somebody would do some sort of lip reading program on us and they'd be like, look what they said, they insulted somebody, they said some naughty word, and we would be canceled. So let's not use the mute button is what I think.
Or if we do, we still have to be careful
Yeah.
not to be like massive racists or anything.
You know, it's funny because in normal life we're not, but when you get on camera, you start to become very self-aware. Like, oh my God, am I going to say anything that offends anybody? But yeah, it's a mute button.
Aaron can lip read.
Yep. So there you go.
So let's not say anything about Aaron.
Yes.
Or maybe we should just to see if he can actually lip read.
So
hey, Aaron. Yeah.
What's wrong with you, Martin? Are you two? Okay. So you're gonna get canceled for that, by the way. It's gonna turn out that he belongs to a group of poop dysfunctional people, and that they don't appreciate being insulted about smelling like poop.
You just told him what it said.
It's fine. So where are we? We are in the Dollhouse domain of Alice Madness Returns. We are still in the midst of what will become the world's longest playthrough of this game. Record length of playthrough.
Guinness will be contacting
Yeah.
us very soon, I imagine.
I quite like these sections because they're very calming. There's no real fighting that has to be done,
All right.
and for live streaming, it's pretty good. It's just all visuals. It's asset tourism, as we've called it before. Ooh, I heard a little noise. Look at that! Somebody cheered.
Yay!
It's working. We're real streamers now. We've got overlays. Oh my god.
Should it be more subtle? You know, a lot of streamers just have it like tucked away at the top or the corner or something. Are we silly?
We literally just installed it. I mean, I think it's all right. So is that to suggest that I should fall down through that hole in the ground? I think so.
All right.
This section is appropriate, actually, for our Plushy Dreadfuls. You could imagine our plushes living very comfortably in this zone with the sort of buttons on the walls and the doll parts and stuff. That was sort of where some of the original inspiration for the plushies came from. Was I started doing some art which used doll parts, and we still have a few pieces of it. I don't know if we have any stuff hanging here in the new house, but I was having a lot of fun with that, and that kind of led to like, hey, why don't we start to kind of make mass production of some of this stuff, and that led to the first plush, and it's kind of taken off since then. It's a bit crazy.
Yay.
Uh-oh, actual fighting.
Kill him! Somebody asked, it went somewhere. Oh, Aaron is the one with the crazy Welsh address from back in the ye olde days.
How'd it
Yes,
go in there, Aaron?
I remember.
Yeah, we remember. Blaidd Siskadal. Is that not the other name of Aaron?
Maybe there's more than one Welsh person? I don't know. But I remember the address.
I do remember the address. Every time we had to deal with it, it was a laugh.
Yeah. Somebody just scrolled past. Lots of VTubers are playing Madness Returns. How
What
do
is
you feel
VTube?
about that?
What is VTube?
It's like YouTube.
Yeah, but what is it? That's not a... So I saw somebody mention VTube the other day, and I thought it was just a typo. I didn't even know there was a
Is it a
thing.
real thing? I thought it's just what they call, like, video bloggers and stuff on YouTube.
So that's meant to say, like, a lot of people online are
Like
streaming
us.
it these
Like,
days.
we are VTubers, if you want to use a terrible phrase, I suppose.
Huh. Oh, it's Insane Children.
So, yes,
Let's
how
hear
do you
what they
feel?
have to say here, Martin. There's going to be dialogue. Be
Okay.
quiet. It's very spooky. It's got very spooky
The
music.
unstable are more than merely mad. They have other parts. The doll maker will deprive them of what remains of their deranged soul. They need care.
I know their pain. I would assist, but is sanity required for the job?
A limited quantity. You're not mad enough to be rejected.
Feels weird being
You're like
quiet.
them, of them, in a way, but not them. I should say not us. For I'm them, but you're on your way. The way is clearly marked.
I believe I know that way, and I'd rather not.
I like this
further.
dialogue. Later in the game, there's some pretty good stuff related to the Infernal Train and kind of the hinting at the Bumby stuff. It's good.
So apparently VTubers are more like those people that use motion tracking to have a virtual avatar that follows their motion and lip reads and stuff.
So it's funny you would mention that because Adam, one of the guys on our team, not Adam Narowski, the artist, but Adam Lang, the tech guy, he's messing around with that, and he's messing around with that because we are talking about as a team this notion of using that for production related to Oz Adventures. What are you supposed to do with this girl? She doesn't seem to be caring much about anything.
Smash her face in.
Oh, you had to break her off. That's sort of naughty. Now she's naked. That's not very nice.
No.
You know, this section of the game is a bit disturbing when it comes to these themes. And I mean, it should be, because this is the part of her psyche that's sort of waking up to the reality of the situation around Bumby and the dollmaker. And of course, this scene, a lot of people saw this and they're like, well, that's right on the nose. That's Alice's psyche literally screaming out what it is that's going on here. Now, I remember when we were making this section of the game that the team had initially set this up to be a girl doll. And I said, nope, we're not doing that. That's going a bit far with the visual analogy there. Let's not do that. So, a little bit. So we did not put that as a girl.
So Why Don't Girls Poop asks if I have been watching Get Back, the Beatles documentary.
I've seen some bits from it. Have you
I
seen
saw a
it?
trailer for it, but I haven't been watching it. Maybe I'll give it a look.
So somebody posted onto Twitter a little clip from it, and it was Paul McCartney and John Lennon. They were riffing, and they had not yet come up with a tune, but they were just sort of on their guitar, and George Harrison's in the background, and they're kind of trying to insert words into this tune that McCartney is building. And it goes from being nothing to something in the span of like 2 minutes, where it's just him kind of playing something random on the guitar to a globe spanning top of the charts song in the span of 2 minutes. And it's pretty impressive, pretty amazing to watch.
Sounds it.
Yeah.
I'll give it a go.
So back to the VTubers thing. It is something that Adam has been doing some experimentation with, using Unreal and face tracking, and he has a couple of the tools that you use for tracking face and tracking hands and things like that. He's setting that stuff up, and we've been talking about it. And I just jokingly wrote to him on WeChat yesterday. I said we should do like the Flying Monkey and Munchkin show, which would be you and me sat here, but what people would see on screen would be a talking flying monkey and a talking munchkin. And he sent along a bit of animation of himself sort of virtually as an old Chinese ninja kind of looking guy.
Right.
And it's really cool. And I mean, it's it's obviously struggling a little bit. He said that the machine he's running that on is not like a super powerful rig, but that it works, and it's pretty cool. So yeah, because we've been talking a little bit about how we transition from the finishing of the design Bible for Asylum to something new, and I've been saying to him, to Adam, that it would be great to come up with something that's technologically, visually different than just a regular old live stream, and that also having the ability to show the audience the work that's being done in engine would be quite different from the restrictions we've had while working on Asylum. So he's been doing some tech experiments along those lines, and the results are really, really cool.
Excellent. Can I see them at
You
some
can
point?
see those after the live stream today. I did not prepare that asset I didn't think that this would even come up. So yeah, I'll show that to you when the live stream's over.
All right.
Woo! Look at that.
Dark
Speaking of
member something subscribed. Thank you.
wow. Speaking of plushy dreadfuls, look at that.
Look at that.
That is a good design right there. That'd be a great one to have as an actual plush.
Got a big old Flavor Flav clock.
He does.
Neck.
He is clearly a stitched together white rabbit. He's got a cool little black top hat. I like that a lot. That's a good one.
It scrolled past, but Fee Sipma wrote a big old, "Hi guys, big fan, love your stuff, lots of love and kisses and all that." So thank you for that, Fee Sipma.
Thank you.
What else is going on in chat?
Well, so this is something we're going to have to talk about. I don't know that we're prepared to talk about it today, but for those of you who've been following along, you know that today we are going to talk about the Alice Asylum narrative outline, and the fact that is the second version, and it's basically the finished version that's going to be used for the creation of the design Bible. So we still have a few months probably of work to be done on the design Bible in terms of art production and design work and things like that. I think I'm going the wrong way. That hand is telling me I'm going the wrong way.
Just the hand.
But one of the things is that we do need to start talking about, what comes after the design Bible. Now, there's still a big chance that, like the news that I am gonna sort of mention today, but I can't.
The news that we can't mention.
There's a good chance that could lead to some larger developments with Asylum straight away. But in any case, those types of deals can oftentimes take some time to structure. Like, let's say that a game thing was going to happen, but it's still going to take a while for any sort of deal to get done and money to start flowing. So in the interim, I know that we need to keep our team busy, and the thought was, again, around Oz Adventures, and then around a virtual studio, a virtual production, and live streaming. So I think that's going to be something that we begin to talk about maybe on the next live stream, especially once this press release has come out, and then the whole thing will make a lot more sense. But yeah, I'm pretty excited about that.
Sounds exciting. Yeah. I don't know where people are getting this from, but a few people in the chat have said that my VTuber persona is probably going to be a cat girl or a bunny girl. I mean, I don't know where that's coming from, but I mean, they are exactly right. I just don't know where they're getting it from.
Why would
Is it that obvious?
Why would you be a cat girl or a bunny girl?
Cat girls are saucy. Who wouldn't want to be a virtual cat girl?
Oh, okay. Sure.
What would yours be? Flying monkey, or?
I thought being a flying monkey would be pretty fun.
Would it just sort of be like hovering there on screen, bobbing around, or?
I guess we would have to work that out, wouldn't we? I'm not sure. But I would not probably portray myself as something saucy or as a girl. It always feels a little strange to... I don't know. So that's a good question. Like, whenever you played an MMO, if you played City of Heroes or World of Warcraft or whatever the kids are playing these days, and you did character creation, did you create yourself as a boy or a girl?
Half.
Okay.
Sometimes, lady. Sometimes I would try to mimic what I look like.
Right.
Depends on how I was feeling at the time of character creation.
So I wonder if somebody's done the study on that, like what it says about a person who recreates themselves versus a person who creates, say, for instance, a female alter ego. And if you do that by some certain mix of percentages and yada, 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 right? So every once in a while, I would create a female alter ego for myself, but more often than not, I would just create like a virtual me. Similar hair and shape and face and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Or like if I was playing, because I remember, what was the most recent one I got to play where you get to make a face? It wasn't Red Dead Redemption. It was another one, but I made kind of a scruffy-faced cowboy wasteland version of myself.
Right.
And I wonder what that says about you, like when you idealize or imagine yourself in a virtual space, and then who you portray yourself as.
Deeps to the peeps. We just turned the lights on. It's new lights. That's why we look extra handsome today. There's a headlight back there now. So
if you like my new light, yes, please let us know in the comments, because that was my light I put in there. I've been planning to do it for ages. I was looking at some other YouTubers and people that I watch on streams, and I noticed like, oh, they all have this nice kind of backlight. And I've known that for years, but it wasn't until recently that I thought maybe we should have a little backlight. So there we go.
Speaking of virtual people and whatever, I saw something that was quite interesting yesterday. I watched the Everything Great with the Matrix from Cinema Sins or whatever they're called. And an interesting factoid was, when you go to the real world, you're real, but when you go back into the Matrix, they call it like this residual self-image. It's how you see yourself. They said the character switch was actually going to be like male in the real world and female in the Matrix.
Yes.
Or other way around, I forget which.
That's right.
Hence the name, I guess.
That's right.
I thought that was kind of interesting, but
I've heard that before, but it didn't end up happening in the movie.
It did not.
Did not.
It was an interesting
But
factoid.
wasn't Switch also the one who was infatuated with the sexy woman in The Matrix?
Not sure.
So if I remember correctly, Switch was the one when there was the lady in red that Neo says to, or Morpheus says to Neo, you didn't keep your eye on the action because you were distracted by the saucy woman, right? So I believe that the story was that was supposed to be his alter ego in the Matrix. That he designed her, and the reason that he designed her to look like that was in order for that to be his avatar inside the Matrix.
Huh.
If I remember correctly, I could be just making all that up. I sometimes do just make stuff up.
Kind of interesting, but clearly didn't make it in.
Yeah. I feel kind of bad knocking her clothes off, and I feel like that's sort of putting me in the Dr. Bumby camp of attack style.
Well, kill her quickly then.
Yeah, I'm trying. She's got a lot of hit points, it turns out. So.
I hate a bullet sponge.
Oh no! I've revealed her. Oh, what's that big, giant, glitchy thing over there?
It's something.
Something glitched.
Stream has disconnected.
Did it? Uh-oh. Yeah, I can see here on the VPN. It's dead.
But we are still recording.
So YouTube, hello. If you are watching this as a recording after the fact on YouTube, I'm just going to switch this off and back on again.
Okay.
If you are watching this recorded on YouTube after the fact, please smash like and subscribe in order to retroactively time travel fix the stream problem. Look at that. It does a pretty big glitch.
It does.
And it's back again. Something's going out. That's doing a tremendous amount of data out.
That's down. No, that's down.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, seems we're back.
It does look like we're back. This blue is down, but I'm not seeing a tremendous... Oh, there is 5 going out. Okay.
Aaron just subscribed with a giant bronze dice.
Yeah. Sorry about that, everybody.
You know, we're over here in China. We need the magic of the VPN. It's not always stable.
This is right. So anyway, what were we... I was defeating that doll baby, and obviously I did defeat her, right? As the stream went down, so... and we were talking about that I feel like that's an inappropriate way to attack a doll baby, given that it's very Dr. Bumby-esque, and it's anyway, it's fine.
It's fine. It's all good in the hood.
Yes.
So yes, stream did go off Jackster, but we are back.
I read a new thing the other day. They said that China is going to do some additional new restrictions on VPN stuff. Did you see this?
No.
But apparently it's almost entirely geared towards when a corporation provides VPN service to its employees. Uh-oh. So I've got to... Doesn't look like I think I've done the... No, that's the arena I was in. Where am I supposed to go now? Was I supposed to make another jump before the end of that? I bet I was. All right,
Who knows?
Let's jump down. But yeah, the VPN stuff is a big pain in the butt. And I think a lot of people misunderstand what it is that the government's trying to do by having the outside world kind of blocked off the way it is. A lot of people think it's purely about censorship, but in fact, a lot of it is about just protecting their internal network against outside malfeasance. So it turns out that the governments of the world all, they all kind of mess with each other quite a lot. I think this is the way to go. And yeah, there's a bunch of backstory to that. But anyway, it turns out that using a VPN in China, even though you will read that it's illegal or that you could go to jail, no one's ever actually gone to jail for it except for like one guy who apparently he got caught in some sort of sting operation, like selling VPN service to the cops or something. And he had set up his own VPN server, which is not what we do. We just use a public, like, Astral, VPN. But the thing is, if you want to use a licensed, sanctioned, 100% legal VPN service here, you can. You just buy it from the phone company here, like from China Mobile or China Unicom, or from like the one we used for a long time called Cloud Valley. And they work perfectly fine. The only issue is that they're really super expensive. So we finally just gave up, mainly for a cost.
Cloud Valley was mental expensive,
really
for the terrible speeds that you got.
So, I think, we wouldn't mind using, like, the official channel version of VPNs here if they weren't so prohibitively expensive. And they are pretty expensive, so... Anyway, that is why we sometimes drop off the stream, is because astral hiccups, and we need to reset things. Where am I supposed to go now?
When you did all that stuff and nonsense, there was a clock to shoot that went flipped behind the wall.
It was already turned green.
Was it? Oh.
Yeah, I had already flipped it.
If
so
anyone knows what American has to do...
Charge shot the wall, somebody says.
All right.
Okay. Are those hamburgers?
People think we're on a green screen now.
Why?
I don't know, because it's different.
No, it's an actual... That's us. It's in an actual room. The same room we've always been in. That's weird. When this section of gameplay is done, we'll show you.
Is it? What? I don't get what's happening. Some people see a black screen, so it's.
What?
I don't know. I don't know if people are saying that we're on a green screen or the screen has literally gone green because of that internet glitch we had.
That doesn't even look like a green screen. I see a black screen.
Well, a lot of people can clearly see us.
Green on screen. It's fine for me. So I think the problem is a bunch of people are talking about what to do in the game here, perhaps. They want me to do that.
You're shooting through the wood boards.
I know that. I saw that. That's not what I'm talking about.
All right.
Anyway. All right. Let's leave it alone.
Oh, when it's buffering, for some people, the screen just goes green.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. That's bizarre. Anyway, so we are about to come to the end here. We've only got... Let's see what happens. I'm going to stop playing, and we're going to see what happens with this timer.
What's going to happen?
Let's see. 20 seconds. Martin is very proud of this thing he set up on the stream deck here with a little countdown timer, and I guess it's going to make a noise. Are we ready?
Should do.
10, 9 seconds, 8. I hope you have a question ready. No, I think I have one ready.
Okay.
Wow. Was that it?
Was it?
Could anybody... All right.
Well, the little audio bar went up, so I assume they heard it.
Okay. So let's push this button. Hello. So yeah, here we are. I don't know what they're talking about with the green screen, but it is prize time. So we are going to give away one of these. This is a Rage Rabbit. They are already on sale over in the Mysteria shop. In fact, I think they've been selling quite well. So that's a Rage Rabbit, and because we're connected to the UK for our VPN, it's giving us the price in Great British pounds.
35 quid.
35 quid, blimey. Now my question for this giveaway is, what is the name of your alternate persona when you set up and play a game online? Because I have a name I almost always use. I used in World of Warcraft, I used in City Heroes, I used in all kinds of things. So mine was Malleus, Malleus.
It was Tokay.
Well, that was from my id Doom days. But a lot of times if you go and if I went and played as Tokay, then people would be like, "Are you the Tokay?" And it was kind of annoying. So I had an alternate one.
Right.
So what about you?
Well, these days I sometimes choose Font Lord, but before that I would have Flight Tribe for no real reason, just the name of an album. And before that, I can't remember.
Right.
But never was just boring. It wasn't just like, oh, Martin B or whatever.
So somebody says the stream is having issues and we can only see the whole screen green. For those people who are having that problem, I recommend that you do a full reload of your web page. So why don't you do that? Somebody Red for Fury asks, American, did you have to take a class or get certified? No, I am a high school dropout who went to work at a car repair shop prior to being given a job at id by John Carmack. And so I have no formal school training. I did do a couple of courses at a community college once, but nothing beyond that. I'm not a big believer in formal education for games, because you can just go and download the Unreal Engine for free. And I recommend if you're going to get into games, you teach yourself Unreal, because right now there is just not enough people in the world who can use the Unreal Engine. And Unreal is now being used not just for game production, but for film and television production as well. and the demand for people who are good in that engine is going to grow faster than is possible for the demand to be met. And the fastest way for you to get really good inside of Unreal is to just go and download it and teach it yourself. Don't go to school for it. So,
All right.
there you go.
That's what Jen's doing. She's wangling around in Unreal, I believe.
Yeah. Somebody says the screen flashed pink for a second. Guys, we don't really know what's going on here.
We see no dropped frames. We see good internet.
Right.
We see a high bit rate.
Okay.
Please refresh.
So Red Fury 45 says, sorry, what did you do about business? So I read several books that are kind of those pocket MBA books. I also read, like, for instance, Thomas Sowell's economics book, which is oftentimes what you read when you go to a university course. I basically looked up a lot of the books that are recommended for replacement to going to university when it comes to things like business management and accounting and economics. And I self-taught myself all those things. And of course, Excel, if you've got really good Excel skills, that's another important part of being able to run a business. A lot of that stuff, you, again, just go online. Like, there's some amazing YouTube people out there who will teach you stuff about that. And yeah, I mean, there's whole lists of like how to get an MBA without paying for it. So I would just recommend you do that. Okay.
Seems to be a YouTube problem. Everyone on YouTube is having the screen issue.
I've seen that green YouTube problem before, but it had nothing to do with live streams or anything. It was just like everything was turning green.
I saw a lot of green flashing in YouTube a couple of months ago.
So you might just be experiencing like a global YouTube problem. Okay,
Come over to Twitch. It's working.
We're going to roll it here, and it is MPS Sinclair. Congratulations, MP Sinclair. You have just won yourself a Rage Rabbit.
Yay.
And what you need to do is send an email to support@mysterious.design. Include your name, your phone number, your mailing address. Do all that in a human readable format that doesn't make us angry. No, and do it within 24 hours or no rabbit for you. Oh. This is actually a good one for giving away prizes because we can pretend to be angry. What the hell's wrong with your address format? Don't live in places where we don't understand your address. No. Anyway, so congratulations to something Sinclair.
Zeno, we can't just stop and start the stream again. It causes trouble.
Yeah. Don't live in Wales.
A pink dice. MP Sinclair. Thank you with the cheer.
Thank you. All right. On to art review. And yeah, for those of you who are experiencing problems with the stream, maybe go over to Twitch. YouTube is piling,
we don't like YouTube anymore.
Pile of garbage. We don't like YouTube. This is YouTube. Look at
Falsifying.
That's
welcome.
Look how beautiful that matches up with the theme. Like,
it was pretty
the
good, that.
Golden dice and the fire burning in the background. So this is young Alice. Do you need to reset? Oh, you did reset it. This is young Alice escaping from the fire which burns down her house and murders her family. This is the inciting incident, as would be described if you were in Hollywood doing a story pitch. This has actually gone through quite a lot of different revisions. It started off with Joey doing the initial sketch and then back and forth, and Omri was trying to help her out. So I think this is supposed to be final. Get out.
Looks pretty final.
Yeah. I'm not really sure what to make of the facial expression. I don't know what you're supposed to look like when you're fleeing from a burning house. She definitely doesn't look normal. So
yay, numbers.
So anyway, it's fine. I think this is fine. I think in a final version of this, there might need to be a couple of like more hinty bits in the background, but I'm pretty happy with this.
It's a good one. I like it. Yeah, nothing much to say really. It's just another class piece of art.
So we have been discussing this back and forth as we're working on the narrative, and the notion is that Bumby, this might be spoiler. I don't know. I think we're beyond that point. But anyway, Bumby and Radcliffe, they talk about the house fire, and they want Alice to escape. They want the family to burn down, but they want Alice to escape. And so when we were talking back and forth on this image, it was something that came up where it was like, this doesn't look like she would be able to escape. I kind of worry about just how on fire everything is.
You can't see what's happening sort of like where we are, the camera. Could be like a clear path to the front door for all we know.
Well, she's staring right at us. She's like, all I can see is a green screen. Stop it. Get off of YouTube, Alice. I don't know, but I think that this is a lot of fire. So in the final scene in the game, I think this is going to need to be cleaned up a bit just to give her a proper escape route, because I don't know. It looks to me like she's literally kind of like literally running, burning through the fire. What's the rabbit doing there?
Just chill.
He's fine. He's like, this is fine. There should be a little this is fine.
We have the this is fine, don't we?
We did
in this
that.
folder.
Yeah. All right. Another image from Joey. This is Alice talking to the caterpillar. And I'm not sure exactly which scene in the game this is from. Now, we did have this pulled up in Monday, so I suppose we could have a look here. This is Alice interacting with the caterpillar. Caterpillar told her something. She's thinking about it, partially confused. It's in the forest, plants all over the place. This is from which section of the game? Did that work or that did not work?
Don't know.
Look, Alex.
Monday's rubbish.
Okay, so this is from the newest list of art requests. This is just meant to be Alice and the caterpillar interacting. I think this is Alice wrestling with the revelation of the shadow. So yeah, there's a bit of back and forth dialogue between the two of them here, and that was what this this image was all about. So there's a couple of places in the game where she interacts with the shadow, with the caterpillar. This is early on in the game where she first talks to him in this realm called Slumber, and she's still wearing sort of this dreamy moth dress. And I think that the one that Joey drew here most recently, that is supposed to be later on in the game when she's in the Vale of Tears. So that's it.
All right.
That's a pretty cool image.
It is a good image.
I could imagine that being a new art print.
It's a little, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. It's kind of very classic. We've got a few images in this style, but not so many. But yes, it definitely has a very classic look to it. And I very much like it.
Right.
Yeah.
So what I would think is that if you look at some of the old school kind of French posters for movies and products and stuff like that, there's a kind of feel like that to this. Maybe that's what you're referring to, but I can't remember I can't think of an exact example to pull up. But yeah, it turned out nice.
Mushroom's got eyes. It's quite sinister.
Everything can be surreal if you just stick eyes on it. This one looks like he looks like he's been smoking a bit of.
He looks like he's
something.
just popped out into the atmosphere on Mars.
Oh, he's that scene of Arnie.
Arnie.
In,
Give him some
Recall.
oxygen, the eyes will go straight back in.
Yes, exactly. All right. Now, there is a sequence of images here that are all kind of related. Not that one. So this is sort of related to this. So we should start with this, because this is the first thing that you would see in the game. There's a whole sequence of images. Now, why isn't it not bringing up where is it? Now I have to now you're going to see all the art too soon. Oh no! There it is. This is what I wanted to show off. That scene of the christening starts with this. Now, did we show the final version of this in the last live stream? I think we did not.
We didn't. We showed a reasonably good one, but not the final.
Right. So this is a scene that it happens in a flashback. We've talked about it on the live stream before, where Alice, in her imagination, witnesses the funeral for her parents and her sister. So that's why they're down here roasting in their coffins, because it is fairly nightmarish. And the people on the pews, the congregation, they are chanting, murmuring things about Alice being guilty, feeling guilty, and that she's a terrible daughter. She let her family burn to death, and she wasn't even at their funeral, and so forth and so on. Now, I think that this is a fairly powerful scene, a fairly powerful sequence of events that lead up to this. And this is really supposed to start to dredge up a lot of the negative feelings that are keeping Alice stuck in the snow globe. So just after this sequence plays out and that she kind of reveals the guilt and the shame she feels for not being at the funeral, we then transition to this christening. Now, the reason that I wanted to put the christening, obviously she's in a church and we're using sort of religious themes, but what I wanted to try to accomplish here was this notion of the rebirth that takes place when you are christened. So when I don't know how many of you are religious or understand what happens during a christening, but it's meant to signify death and rebirth. So you are born with sin, and this is how your sin is washed from you, and then you're brought back out of the water and you've been cleansed. And so this is meant to be a sequence where we kind of really kick off Alice's journey towards the rebirth that happens at the end of the game. That's why this scene, this christening, happens relatively early in the game. And then there's this scene that happens once she's escaped from the snow globe. If none of this makes sense, then you could go over and you could read the giant narrative outline. We'll get to that in just a minute. There is a new version of it that's going to go up on Patreon in the next day or so. But this scene happens later. So this is the emergence. This is the submerging. So this scene you see where she's submerged into the bath, it ends as she's submerged. So she will disappear into the water, and then the screen will go black. And so you will not see her pulled out of the water. You don't see her emerge from the water basically until you see her come out of the snow globe. Of course, snow globes are filled with water, and so she's going to be on the floor here in Hatter's domain. She will be covered in the water from the globe, and he will be lifting her up from that. So these two scenes that are at separate ends of the game, one at the beginning, one at the end, they bookend one another. They bookend the entire narrative. One represents the submersion, the beginning of the journey through death in order for her to be reborn, and then this scene represents the coming out of the snow globe and waking up into her new reality. Sort of like Neo being born out of the Matrix, I guess.
Okay. Very thorough description.
There's some thought going into all this. So yeah, this scene got a lot of comments on the internet, primarily because
John Wick's here.
look, he's even got a gun. I like how Omri drew in this like pistol-looking thing here.
Before I forget, Miss Celia Frost has been gifting subs. Thank you for that. Whatever that does on Twitch, people seem grateful, so that's cool. Somebody was like, "Oh, is this spoilers?" Yes. Spoilers ahead.
Yeah. I apologize to everyone who doesn't want spoilers. I don't know what to tell you. The only consolation I can give you is that even if we were to start work on this game tomorrow, it would be a good 2+ years before it was released. And I promise you that before that happened, you would forget everything we were talking about here today. So just rest assured in the comfort of your own brain's inability to hold on to details like this, that 2 years from now, all of this would be fresh and new to you again. So I think you can listen to what we're talking about and not worry about it. And also remember that like when it finally comes to sitting down and playing the game, it's going to be a whole strung together experience. You're going to be totally immersed in it. You're going to completely forget about Font Lord and Stick Boy telling you all this stuff 2 years, 3 years ago. So I wouldn't worry about it too much.
Yeah. And YouTube still be effed. Come over to Twitch.
Yeah. So this is the section where we were talking about this back and forth. Yeah, the Keanu thing is kind of funny. I mean, we've joked about it in the past that some depictions that we did of Alice's dad looked a bit like Keanu Reeves. Omri just went ahead and did Keanu Reeves' face on the dad's face this time, just kind of as a joke. And I think he says there was a couple things going on here. So this is an actor, a Chilean actor named Daniel Immelfork. I don't want to mispronounce that. Sorry, guy. But the idea was that this guy's face should sort of echo the Hatter's face from this scene later on, right? Because that is what's going on here. You've got the submersion with the priest, and then you've got the pulling out of the bath, out of the water by the Hatter later on. So there is this visual connection between the two of them. And then, yes, of course, as many people picked up on, Omri kind of jokingly, not so jokingly, went ahead and pasted Keanu's face in there. Apparently, the woman is a well-known actress as well. I'm trying to see, but he put a lot of thought into this. So if you pay attention closely to the image, you will see that Nan Sharp is there. You'll see Lizzie is there as also as a child. There's a lot of really interesting detail about the characters. Of course, got Bumby over here in the corner, sort of looking away in shame, and you've got Radcliffe, the lawyer, here looking on. So there's a lot of storytelling happening here. Omri said this stained glass in the back, he's going to redo this, and it's going to be imagery of the Queen of Hearts, and her castle. So there'll be a little bit of a little bit of Wonderland in here. This, of course, is Nan Sharp taking care of a young Lizzie. And there's the damn cat. This damn kitten. It's all that cat's fault.
SpongeBob over here in chat gives a big up for just everything you do. Truly are a best video designer of your generation.
I don't know about
don't
that.
know about that.
Yeah, I mean,
Thanks anyway.
it would be helpful if we could actually just get this game made. That would instead of just
Then
sitting
we'll
around,
see.
yeah, then we would see. We still have a ways to go. I think there's some good stuff in the story here, and I think that as a game it would be excellent. Of course, as they say, the proof is in the pudding. So you can draw up the best pudding recipe in the world, but it's all about making it and then tasting it. And so we still have a ways to go. But thanks for that.
Thanks very much.
Okay. Anything else in the comments we need to talk about?
YouTube still broken.
The little girl on the right looks almost photographic. Well, a lot of times, remember, these are pieces of art that are work in progress. Remember that Omri does use, I guess you could say, found art. He will copy paste stuff from the webs, and we've had people in the past once or twice try to get angry at us because we pasted something, and they're like, "That's not yours! How dare you!" And it was like, look, guy. All game developers do this. The only difference is you don't get to see the work that's done internally that never makes it into the game. But I promise you, all game developers copy and paste. This church, he didn't just draw all of this. He found something online and he pasted it in there and he kind of fixed it up a bit. And the same thing goes with a lot of this. He's putting images of characters and people that he's found online as photographs in here, and he's painting over it, and that allows him to work a lot faster. And in this case, he's actually referencing real life actors and actresses, because this is meant to be more of a real life scene. This isn't Wonderland, right? So yeah, you will see stuff, especially in Omri's art, where he's using found art, real people's faces and pictures and stuff like that as the base for the final illustration. I think by the time you get to the final illustration, he usually does enough work on top of that to make it his own. But if not, it's normal.
It is.
It is normal.
It is.
Okay. Any other comments to address there?
What phase are we in terms of game dev? Like pre-alpha?
Yeah, pre-alpha. That's
pre-alpha.
If you go to the Patreon front page of the Patreon, it exactly explains that all of the work we're doing is the pre-production process. We're not allowed to go beyond pre-production. EA has specifically told me, don't you dare turn on a game engine and put an asset in there or else. So we can do design work and the story and the art and all that stuff, but we're not allowed to turn an engine on and put an asset in there. And, if we built a scene, I'm sure that we'd be getting phone calls from lawyers immediately being like, cease and desist. And they might even just tell us all right, no more of any of that. Right, stop it all. No more art, no more story. So we have to be very careful that we never cross over into the territory of something that looks like it's an actual game being built. One of the reasons for that, there's this weird gray zone. The Alice rights are split in two. There is the game rights, which are owned by EA, and then there are the film and television rights, which are owned by a separate company, not EA. in the world of film and television, it is perfectly normal for someone to sit down and to develop a story and develop a concept without having any license to do that. Any of you, could go and develop the next Matrix as a story, and you could go and do a YouTube about it, and you could talk about it, and no one can stop you from writing your own fan fiction and doing your own art and posting it online and saying, this is my vision of what the next Matrix movie might be. Now, the moment that you start trying to shoot stuff, as the story about the kind of crowd-funded, public-made Star Trek, that got into a lot of hot water because they started to look better than the actual TV show, and it embarrasses these corporations because suddenly it looks like, hey, we don't need big corporations to make high-quality content. Well, that's exactly where we're at. If we started showing that we could just make high-quality content without anybody's permission, well, then you kind of start asking, like, why do we need those big corporations controlling all of this? And then it gets into a messy place.
That Star Trek did look good, and it had Tuvok in it, I think. They actually
That's
got
right.
the actor, so...
Yeah.
Yeah.
But maybe I will take this moment to make that aside about, I just was asked to write my quote for a press release. The press release is related to something Alice. I will say it's not about the game. It is about something in this space that we call linear media. That means film, television, book, whatever, right? Anything that's not interactive. That quote is going to go into a press release. That press release is going to come out in a week. And that announcement is huge. That announcement is going to move things forward. I told Martin what it was this morning. Why are you laughing?
I just can't say anything.
But it involves a person who is going to be in a role that everybody, I think, that is in the games industry that likes Alice, they will know and recognize this person. But this is a Hollywood film and television person, and that person's involvement is gonna turbocharge the whole side, the Hollywood side of what's going on with Alice, and that should, I would imagine, have some sort of knock-on effect to what we're doing on the interactive side. So keep your eyes and ears open. I'll post all that up. Of course, it'll be on Patreon, and it'll be a big announcement when it goes out. Now, I in talking to the Hollywood team that are working on that, they are saying that they hope that the news generates a big kerfuffle, that people go bonkers, because that will help everything that we're doing. It'll help the Hollywood side of things. It'll help the game side of things. So when that news drops, please go crazy. Spread it far and wide and cheer it and yay. And yeah, so.
Is it Zendaya? She's everywhere these days.
Zendaya is the person who comes up every time I type Zendesk into Google.
The one who's always looking over her shoulder in Dune.
Oh, is that her?
Yeah.
Oh.
She is in everything these days. Spider-Man, Dune, The Greatest Showman.
She's got a very good grumpy face.
She does.
Yes.
Toxicity Firestar asks if we look at YouTube comments. Yes, we see them. They're right there.
They mean the comments below the video. Generally not.
Oh, they meant chat. I think. But yeah, we know it's
yes,
broken.
The chat,
come to Twitch.
But not the. Oh, I see. If you comment under one of the videos on YouTube, we don't generally look at those. If you are in the chat, oh, you do. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Looking Glass says, is there a contact you have at EA for development? Yes, we have a direct contact to the guy in charge of business development for this very specific thing. I'm talking to that person. The people in Hollywood are talking to that person. There is a back and forth, but the situation is they will not stop us from going to make a game, but they want us to put together the entire $20 or $30 million necessary to do that before we come to talk to them. And so that's what we've been working on. We've been talking to a variety of potential publishers and financiers, some of them here in China, some of them in the US, and now linking that up with the team that we're working with in Hollywood. So yeah, all that's there. It's just not super easy to pull together $30 million. I mean, maybe you can do it faster than I can be. If you can, then yeah, send us an email, support@mysterious.design. Hey, I've got $30 million, or I know somebody who does, and there you go. Okay.
Be good.
back to art review because we have a lot to talk about today. So let's
Ooh,
just
go,
try
go,
to get
go.
through this because we're about to run out of time and have to do another prize
I
thing.
did press that a bit late, but
You did.
Yeah.
This is an image from Adam. This depicts Alice at a very young age in the hospital, and this is just after the fire. And what's meant to go on here is there's a scene which shows the very important moment at which the shadow takes over as the dominant aspect of Alice's personality, which is really core to this whole design story theme in Alice Asylum. Because in Alice Asylum, you're playing as the little girl who's trapped within the adult's psyche. That means that the adult has already been through all of her trials and tribulations, and she's already pushed Bumby under the train. And it's, in fact, the pushing of Bumby under the train that sort of cracks the crystal, the glass, where Alice is being protected deep inside of her psyche. And so we go back and we see all of the things that the child and the adult have been through. And this is the moment at which the two of them are split. The child in the hospital going crazy because she's lost her family and she's being restrained and she's not being treated right. And it's the shadow that emerges out of the depths and says, F y'all, I'm in charge. I'm in charge now.
The Texan shadow, by the sound of things.
Yes, exactly. And so the shadow becomes the dominant personality. The shadow steps up to protect the rest of Alice's psyche from the battles to come. And the child is pushed way, way down deep inside of her psyche. And so it's that deep in her psyche place that the child has to escape from. And that's the adventure that you go through in Asylum, is how to get the child out of the depths of her psyche. So this is that scene. This is the scene where the shadow goes, get out the way, and takes over. What that means, if you're astute, you will realize it means that you, the player, have been guiding around Shadow Alice this whole time. When you play American McGee's Alice or you play Alice Madness Returns, the main character you're playing in those games is the Shadow.
Mind blown.
And this is a topic that came up on a Patreon post, I think yesterday, where I sort of talked about you really need to embrace your shadow if you're going to properly navigate this crazy world we live in.
All right.
This is Alice. Yes?
11.
Well, we're on this dumb thing. We'll just wait for that to count down.
But then if we do the next... Well, we'll stop that.
What? So is it prize time now?
And then start it again for the next one. Yeah.
I was in the mid... What's... You...
Prize
Stop
time!
touching the thing!
That seems sinister, just looking off camera. Stop touching the thing!
Stop touching my thing! So we're going to give away another prize now, apparently. You know, I don't know if you all in the audience know this, but where you know that I'm sort of a jerk, like whatever personality defect I have that makes me bossy and jerky, Martin is a control freak. He doesn't like...
True.
It is true. He doesn't like if even a second passes beyond some set point where he thinks he should be responded to, or that prizes should be given away, or nope, can't have it. He
Just like structure.
Yep. Well, it kind of suggests that you're also a control freak. I don't know.
Who knows?
So anyway, there's a funny thing you can do. You can put your fingers in his head and you can wiggle his eyes. So anyway, it is time. Do you have a question?
Yes. It's a rubbish one, though. We were just talking about Zendaya being everywhere. I don't think she's overstayed her welcome yet. Still like her. In the past, has there ever been like just an actor that was everywhere and you just thought, enough, take some time off, you're done?
That's an interesting one. Do you have one?
I never got bored of the guy, but I've mentioned this before. What's his name? He was in Avatar.
Jake. What's his name? Jake.
And the Clash of the Titans movies. You know, the latest Hollywood beefcake. He was everywhere at one
Chris
point.
Pratt.
Not Chris Pratt.
Bradley Cooper.
Not Bradley Cooper.
Britney Spears.
Yeah. Anyway,
Some
him,
sponge.
that guy. At one point, he was everywhere.
Sam Worthington.
Yes.
Ah, okay.
Clash of the Titans, Wrath of the Titans, Terminator Salvation,
Right.
Avatar.
But he's gone now.
But he went.
He's
He's
disappeared.
gone. But I never got bored of him, but there was a point where he was everywhere.
Interesting. So I'm, of all weird things related to this question, I'm right now in the middle of listening to the autobiography kind of storytelling book by Matthew McConaughey. And I like him because he's a fellow Texan. And I also was one of those things, I don't know if you remember when he was doing those Lincoln car commercials and everybody was kind of making memes about them because he would do these kind of like, I like to drive my Lincoln, drive in the rain. I go out and I drive. Anyway, he did this very deep Texan kind of thing. And people made like hour-long YouTube ASMR videos of just him.
Right.
So I like him a lot. He got a little bit overexposed there for a while. But anyway, it's an excellent book. If you want to read a fairly non-pretentious, very funny account of this guy's life where he went from sort of rags to riches and fame, it's a good one. But I would say that he got a bit overexposed there for a while.
Someone said Nicolas Cage.
Yeah,
How
well,
can you have too much Nicolas Cage?
Yeah. All right.
Talking to someone about Mandy the other day,
That's a crazy movie.
isn't it?
Tom Cruise is a weird one. He doesn't age, and he's just still out there being Tom Cruise. All right. Well, let's go ahead and roll it.
Let's roll it.
That was fine. Where is the roll it button? There it is. 3, 2, 1. Apple juice. Spelled
Juice.
with an S. Apple juice. Congratulations.
3
Apple
P's.
juice. Well, there is 3 P's in there.
What's going on there?
Apple juice. Anyway, congratulations. You do need to send an email to support@mysterious.design. Be sure to include your name, your address, your phone number. Do all that in human legible kind of format. Doesn't make us angry. And do it within 24 hours. And then we'll send you a rage rabbit of your own. You can. I like how every time I flip this around, like all this rage dust flies off. I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but there's a bit of rage fur that comes with that.
A little bit.
Okay. It's all over the place. Next piece of art. Yes, this was... I've got to go back and reread this scene a little bit because I've seen this and then I never really fully understood. She's replacing his memories. I think this is... Alice emerges into proper Wonderland and then out of the snow globe, and then she's got to give him some memories from inside the snow globe. I'm not sure.
She's helping him with his cognition.
Oh, that's funny. You're terrible. Yeah, he needs a firmware upgrade. Okay, this.
Jeez.
Did we look at this?
No.
This was Adam's early attempts at that scene where Shadow Alice emerges. And so the idea was, look at the cat is there like, what? Holy,
What the?
So yeah, this was Shadow Alice emerging from the child. And we ended up saying to him, look, this squiggly face guy, that's just not right. What's going on there?
What is going on there? I can see his big old nose.
So we ended up saying, look, this isn't right because the brief calls for her to be in the hospital on the bed. But anyway, out of this came some pretty cool art. Like, no, I'll get you, my pretties. And then this sort of like...
So what's her feeling in this scene?
Well, I mean, if that were me and this thing just like ejected out of me...
So she sees that, but no one else does?
Well, how can you see when you don't have eyes? Look, these guys, they're not even... What's going on there?
Could be his...
He's wearing like a garbage bag on his head.
Dashing
These
cat.
guys don't even have faces. I don't think anything is... I don't know. This was just not right, though. It wasn't supposed to be this way. Because it wasn't supposed to be that the shadow kind of comes out and looks back on all of this. I mean, you saw the proper version of this, which is that they kind of are overlaid one on top of the other. And we talked about it. It's difficult to portray that in a 2D, a still illustration. What's going on?
Is that a butt on its face? Maybe.
It's Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah.
Yeah, so these were cool, but they weren't right. They're way too kind of like spectral ghost moment, This cat really is just like, man, this is one messed up family. I tried to burn their house down, but man, the crazy one survived. This is fine. I think we're getting close to the end.
Oh no.
What?
Well, we had a lot of art.
Oh no, we have a lot more stuff to cover. Why don't you talk about this? Because I know people missed out on it, but you're going to put it in the shop, right?
Yes, this is obviously the calendar print that we are doing. I gave lots of warning online. There was an Instagram post, probably a tweet maybe, and all over Patreon to warn people to join Patreon before December hit. Clearly, it's now too late to do that. But we are putting this in the shop as well, so it's not just Patreon specific. It won't be signed as most, in fact, probably all of our other stuff is. So it is going in the shop at a cheaper price. So it's not that bad. So yeah, I think we said it's probably going to be 35
US dollars.
US dollars.
Not quid.
Not
'Cause
quid.
that would be $45 US.
And yeah, I assume I'll probably put that in the shop tomorrow or something.
There you go.
So yeah, that's what that is. Yeah, excellent stuff.
Etheria Prism says, is it just one image? Well, yes.
If you're a patron and you're at like the $75 level, think of it as a double print month again. So you are getting the print of the month and the calendar print. And for this time, we don't normally do this. The 3 for 35 patrons will get treated as a double month as well in December.
Woo!
So if you fill in your 3 for 35 survey during December, you will also be treated as a double print patron.
Somebody's saying, how large is that? It's as large as all the other, like, there's an art print.
Maybe a tad smaller than this. I think it's 44 by 62. But kind of similar-ish to this. Maybe a little bit narrower.
It's a good size.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'll be rolled up and stuck in a tube and sent to you wherever you happen to be in the world.
Yeah.
All right. Are we done with that?
Yes.
Okay, so this piece of art and this piece of art and this piece of art, if you've watched before, you know there's the scene where Alice travels through her memories of London and they're all underwater and they're all falling apart and all crazy. And then there's going to be this. There is a big boss battle that takes place between Alice and the walrus. This is actually the end of the boss battle. So you see her like, oh no, why are you looking up my dress?
She does look disturbed. Shouldn't she be happy that it appears she's won?
You know, I don't think that she's ever pleased that she's destroying the inhabitants of Wonderland. And especially because in this scene, the carpenter at least starts off being on her side. He's an ally. But then he becomes infected by the chaos, which drives him crazy. And so he then engages in a giant boss battle with her. And the walrus shows up as well. So what you can see in this sketch by Norm is the carpenter falling down into the abyss, and this is the walrus, his tusks.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so when this is colored and done, it'll be pretty epic. And
So
let me see, I think I threw another one of this one. So this was another image that Norm did of another boss battle. Trust me, we're going to make up for the lack of boss battles.
no, it's going to be another fake out.
No, this will not be a fake out. That would be funny, though. I think we should do a fake out. Like,
We should.
this boss battle should begin, and then it should have a fake out, and everybody will be like, no, not again. And then it'll be like, haha, fake. And then it'll have an actual boss battle.
Murder you to death.
That's right.
Yeah.
So this is another one of Norm's images. You know, we always say he's working on Marvel stuff. I went and looked it up. He's working on the Marvel What If series.
All right.
Yeah, that's what his primary job is. So
I
that's
watched a few of those. They were quite interesting, but then I kind of forgot about it.
right. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So just to get a sense of like what this will look like in the end, we have been having Norm do all of these big action-y, because he's traditionally sort of a comic book graphic novel illustrator. So we've been having him do all of these action-y shots. He's really good at those. And
Those boob windows.
those are pecs. Yeah, those aren't boobs. It's on a male robot. Although he is wearing kind of a queenie type crown. Anyway, it doesn't matter. He's gender fluid. This is gonna turn into one of those. So this is another boss battle. This again is Carpenter and Walrus, and this will be pretty epic when it's all colored in, and it's gonna be in this kind of London scene. Pretty cool.
It will be an epic image, I have no doubt.
It will be. Yeah, this was the emergence of the shadow. This was sort of the three options, or the three frames as the emergence happens. Again, it's difficult to capture an action scene like this where you've kind of got the normal face, then going to the emergence of the shadow. So what you saw in that illustration we looked at earlier was this final frame where the two are kind of blended together. Looks great.
Okay.
This was the initial attempt that was done by Gareth for Alice emerging from the snow globe, and I went and asked them to try to do more to link up the two images, the before and the after. That is the submersion in the christening scene and then the emergence from the snow globe. So this got scrapped, but it still was pretty cool.
It's good.
Yes,
Like it.
still pretty cool. That's the funeral. That's the boss battle.
That's someone having the bath.
Is that Zog from the Superman movie?
Could be.
General, it looks like the one
Terrence
that came
Stamp.
with him. Who was the big guy that
Oh, yeah.
he like shot a snake with laser eyes?
Forget his name now. I'm sure somebody will say it in the chat.
It was that guy. That looks like him. There's a lot going on here. Took
Really
this stuff
is.
serious.
These old paintings were always really jam-packed full of stuff happening.
Pretty awesome. And there's this, what's Keanu Reeves doing in Madness Returns? That's it. We've gone full circle. Awesome. Oh yeah, this was the Queen of England's gown for her christening, and like 100 years ago.
Was it?
Yeah,
Fancy.
it is fancy. All right, that's it.
All right.
I think that's brought us to the end of all that stuff. American, you know that video game designer make a lot of money. Texas with the same lawyers.
Somebody, maybe this is a follow-on, did ask the question, do game designers make lots of money?
Oh, I see.
I suppose it depends on the company.
When I worked at id, I made the most money I've ever made in my life. I've not really gone back to that because id was crazy. That was the heyday of Doom and Quake, and they were giving us bonuses that were just ridiculous. Like every couple of months we'd get sort of like a 5-6 figure bonus check, and
6 figures
yeah,
every
So if-
couple of months.
yeah, it was a bit bonkers. Why do you think everybody was driving Ferraris? So yeah.
I know.
For those of you saying the screen is green, please move over to Twitch, because that seems to be a problem exclusively on YouTube, and we don't know what to tell you about that.
Sorry, YouTubers, but we will probably upload the proper version of this to YouTube later.
We will.
We won't just have the live broken version stored there.
And
So
you'll be
sorry.
able to see in that version what we were doing when the stream went down. It was all just cursing and shirts off and like OnlyFans type stuff. So
Oh, yeah.
get ready for that. All right. They don't call me Stick Boy for no reason, you know. Why don't we move on to a couple things. So let's take a look first at web review. So this is the Alice Asylum narrative outline version 2, which is what I've been working on with Alex.
You can tell it says second cut, and there's a 2 in the corner.
There is. So Alex has been putting a tremendous amount of effort into this. I can tell that he's really gotten into the spirit of writing, and that's fantastic. I've really been enjoying my time working with him, and very happy to have him as a writing partner. And he's good. He's good at it. This has been a lot of fun. Those of you who saw version 1 of this was posted over on Patreon. Your comments and your suggestions and everything were much appreciated. Thank you for all of that. We will be posting this up to Patreon, and then this is going to drive the process to finalize the design Bible. So if you are not afraid of spoilers, you will be able to go and download this, or if you are, you could download it and just not read it.
Just look at the pretty pictures.
There are some really great pictures in here. So this is the front to back entire narrative script for the game. Now, that being said, there will be a lot more narrative written. There'll be a lot of supporting dialogue written. There'll be a lot of little side games and quests and scenes and characters. A lot of stuff that still needs to go into the design of this game, but this would give any rational, interested person a fairly good overview of the main narrative line of the game. So this is Alice's adventure from beginning to end, and then even a little bit beyond the end. I think the ending is fantastic. Alex came up with a little bit for the very, very, very end of this that I'm absolutely in love with, and I will remain in love with until the day I die. So anyway, yeah, this turned out great. If you want to read this again, we will put this up on Patreon. I don't know if it's going to be today, but it'll probably be tomorrow. I've got to do a proofread through it just to make sure Alex didn't hide any funny little Easter eggs in there. And then it'll get posted up. And then it'll get turned into a design Bible, which is the process we're going to start on basically next week. That Alex will be typesetting the design Bible. That'll probably take a month or two, and then that portion of all the work that we're doing will be finished.
Yay. I can't remember who asked. They may be in the chat. Maybe it was Craig or someone. At the end of this document, there is a change log. Somebody did ask about that, didn't they?
Octo Chicken says, percentage-wise, how much changed between drafts 1 and 2? Well, Alex, being the crazy completionist that he is, he added in this bit here at the end, and it is got some stuff about what's next. But here, edit summary and notes. To save you scouring through both version 1 and 2 side by side, here is a short summary that may help you quickly identify key areas of refinement in this new pass. So there you go, Greg. There's a whole big old list of all the changes that took place in this version. There's quite a bit. There's quite a lot. You know, you see some of these sections here that just say, you know, the mock turtle or this scene or whatever, but that usually resulted in some big bits and pieces being written or moved around or changed, stuff like that. So it's good.
It is.
Yeah. Major edits. This is a heavily fan-requested chapter that addresses Elizabeth's significance to the same level that Alice's mother and father appear in the slumber encounter. New chapter created focuses on the resolution of Elizabeth's story arc for Alice. Take that.
And party.
Take that and snort it and party.
I like the font he's using.
That's
typewritery.
Well, that's the standard font Courier that you must use when you produce scripts.
You must use.
If you don't do that, you will be kicked out of Hollywood.
If you give a script to a Hollywood producer in Comic Sans,
they will kick you out of Hollywood. Yes. I'm not joking. It's like it is not negotiable. You must turn in your scripts written in a certain font and in a certain format, and if you don't do it, you'll be laughed out of every room.
Get out of town.
I mean, I suppose that if Quentin Tarantino showed up and he was like, hey, here's my new movie, I wrote it on a napkin, people would be like, okay, fine, we'll take that. But
get out of here, Quentin.
Maybe. Okay, so we've done art review. We've talked about the fact that this narrative outline is done and it's going to go up onto Patreon very soon, and that work will begin on the design Bible. We also talked about ambiguously the news that will drop in the next week or so.
Is there anything else ambiguous we can say about that? Beyond, in a week, there will be a press release. Y'all want to go and take notice of that.
Yeah. Well, I think, and off the back of that, we are going to start talking on Patreon about the pivot that will be happening, assuming that no big giant thing drops in relation to like money and starting development on a new game, which could happen. But there's also going to be work done behind the scenes, which we'll start talking about in pivoting towards Oz Adventures and like actual building of game content, adding on to the team that we currently have, people who can build assets and scenes and getting Unreal up and running. Because again, that's something we're not allowed to do on Alice Asylum, but it's something we would be able to do on something like Oz Adventures. So that news will be coming down the pipe soon as well.
Desert Phoenix has asked if we're going to see the memory cutscenes from the other games, will they be in their original graphic style, or will they be remade to current graphic levels?
I don't know yet, because that's kind of more like an in-production question related to budget and ability on the team and things like that. So I would say we'll probably make some sort of creative executive decision about that once we get into production.
And SpongeBob24 has asked if you knew that they were going to be the first Mexican/Panamanian to be a video game designer and owner in the US.
I saw Joe Biden announce that from the White House last night.
That.
Yeah, it was big. It was a big deal. He came out. Kamala Harris was there, and he was like, "Hey, SpongeBob is going to be the first Mexican Panamanian to be a video game designer owner in the U.S." And it was a big ceremony. So congratulations on
Missed
that.
it.
Yeah,
Missed it.
I think you can go catch the highlights on Twitter and stuff. All right.
Will do.
So let's move on to Plushie Dreadful review. I think that's what we want to do. We have...
Ooh.
Yeah, that's like a Plushie Dreadful. But she's a cute, shy one. Why are you saying ooh like that?
Don't know.
As many of you know, we do make Plushie Dreadfuls. That's a line of plush toys, and they're cute. Some of them are cute, some of them are terrifying. What's going on?
Thanks for the sarcasm.
You're welcome. And congratulations on being the first Panamanian Mexican game designer owner in the United States. That's awesome. Good luck with that.
We're a bit sarcastic sometimes. Don't be mad.
I'm not trying to be rude or anything. I'm just being funny. I think a lot of times people get mad at me on Instagram and Twitter because I am sarcastic in my comments back to them. And I've had people on Instagram be like, "How dare you attack me?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not attacking you. I'm just trying to be funny." And then people don't think it's funny. So sarcasm doesn't work on the internet. This is sleep paralysis.
Sleep paralysis.
Yeah, so we
bunny.
got the prototype. You get that down cam ready there. Don't get the camera. Get the camera. Stop pressing the button. I swear you're addicted to Stream Deck. And
No, you said deck.
I was gonna change it. I was all right. So that is sleep paralysis rabbit, and the idea is if you've ever had sleep paralysis, I used to have it really bad when I was a kid. You are asleep, but you're awake, and you can't wake up fully. So we've done this little goblin of a monster. He is I guess the sleep paralysis bunny. And it's got like these spider eyes all the way around the back of the head and stuff. He's pretty freaking creepy. I really like him. And then he attaches onto this, which is the rabbit, bunny, whatever, that's actually doing the sleeping. And they both feature like little Velcro grippy bits, so you can stick him. What are you doing there? You're a
Action shots.
terrible camera operator. Anyway, so you can Velcro this guy onto that guy, and then whatever, and then you can. Now this part I'm not sure, like, why would you embrace your own creepy spider head guy, but you can. So they kind of link together.
Trust us, they Velcro.
They do. They really do. So anyway, that prototype just came in. I guess it looks a little bit better in this light. This prototype just came in, purples and grays, and he's got little scratches on his back. Ow! Yeah. So those are pretty cool. I don't know. I think Yin. So it's Jen and Yin who do all the design and production stuff on these. My wife and then our toy designer. Jen is also in the chat there. I think she said she's gonna do something about the eyes. She mentioned that she wasn't happy about something about the design on the eyes, but other than that, I think they are good to go. So I think
Sinister. That's got scratches on the back.
Yeah, he's got scratches on his back because he's been freaking scratched by sleep paralysis. So this one is gonna be. There's already a page up in the shop. I think you can go.
Yes.
You can go to the shop and you can. Let me see here. If I type in sleep, is it gonna work?
No, it's.
Why not?
Well, it's not going to bring up a thing like it used to because we keep running out of clicks.
I don't care about that. So there it is. So you can go there and it'll pop this little thing up that says here, email when available. So if you want to be notified when that goes on sale, then you go click that button and then you can be notified.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So then the next one we have is, what do we have after that? Well, we already talked about this one. That's Rage.
Yeah.
And then we've got PTSD. So PTSD came in. All right, get your down cam ready there, Martin. Terrible down cam operator.
great countdown.
No, I don't think so. Okay, so this is PTSD. We did the design of a crowd design of this on Instagram. So all these elements kind of came out of the discussions we had on Instagram. So first of all, he's got this sort of like black hole sun in the center of him because he's just broken and full of nothing. And every emotion that tries to go in or out of him gets sucked into the black hole sun.
Ooh.
It's a very sad situation. He's got his little trauma bunny. So this is sort of this is representative of the trauma that has caused him his PTSD, and it's obviously chained to him by these little shackles. Now, Yin was suggesting to change the color on these to be like gray or black.
Right?
I kind of like them this brown because it suggests that they're old and rusty and they've been there for a long time.
Guess so.
Not sure. But anyway, so he's got those shackled on. A lot of people asked if these cuffs were removable. They are not. They can be kind of like fussed around, but they are sewn into his arm. So they don't come off. And he's got, tears of sadness. And I think that's about it. So that's PTSD Rabbit. Now there's one other design feature that he comes with, and that is masks. So Yin does have some of the mask samples upstairs. They're kind of like a pleathery material. They might even be real leather, I'm not sure. But these masks strap onto his face so that you can represent sort of outward emotions that sit on top of the true inner emotions that he's suffering with. Somebody says COVID masks. Right.
Well, our OCD rabbit does have a face mask.
Right. SpongeBob24 says, American, do you know what a Karen is? And have you ever dealt with one in your line of work? Yes, we get Karens on our Instagram quite often, and generally if I try to explain to them, like for instance, that I'm only being sarcastic and I'm not trying to personally insult them, and they won't accept the apology or the explanation, then I just block them.
We occasionally get them in the store on my old customer support channel. People who just won't back down, demand compensation for whatever slight they feel they have been subjected to.
And we'll talk about that, and sometimes Martin will send the troublesome support tickets to me and try to get some advice, or we'll try to talk back and forth. It's fairly rare, but it's rare. It's so rare that the really outstanding ones have names that we use as a sort of joking. It's our internal reference to here's another one of those, and so we'll if Martin were to say, oh, here's another gin, that's our code for Karen, because we had a gin that was really, really terrible. And I'll be like, oh no, not another one. But it's almost like a competition between like which ones can be more terrible than the others.
Was not great.
She was straight up bonkers. We have had customers threaten us in really crazy ways, and that was one of them, where she threatened a sort of like violence. And what's that? It's surprise time.
Something happened.
All right, you have a question? Surely
no,
we can ask a
something
question about Karen.
Karen, I'm
Yes.
thinking.
Have you ever had a Karen? I guess that's
Or
just
have you even been the
a Karen?
Have you ever done something and then later on you thought, man, I was a bit of a jerk to that person?
Yeah, I've done that. I've been awful, and then realized after the fact I was a little bit overly aggressive.
A little, not so much that I think I've Karened up, but sometimes I thought, chill out a bit.
Well, anyway, if you would like to be qualified for the prize we're going to give away in a moment here, which is the Rage Rabbit, which is very appropriate for the Karen conversation, then let us know in the chat. Have you ever been a Karen, or have you ever encountered a Karen?
No. Guitar Bard worked on the sales floor in retail for 4.5 years.
Wow.
Such stories you must have.
There used to be a website, and it was run by an Australian graphical designer, and it was called something like 24.something/B.
Sounds, yeah.
And it's this collection of like all of his interactions with like work and kind of work and client whatever. Anyway, I'm trying to say, I wish I could find it. Anyway, it's hilarious. If you can find that website, maybe you know what it is. Go read that. You will laugh to death because the guy, the way he deals with problems with clients and with bosses and stuff is hilarious, especially if you work in graphic design or like games or creative industry and you know kind of what it's like to have somebody come and say, yeah, that image is okay, but it just needs a little something more. And you're like, little something more what?
27B/6.
That's
says Juvia Melissa.
27B/6.
Always nice to hear from her.
She's got it. There it is. 27B/6. She found it. This website is hilarious. This is a collection of incredible interactions that he has and his reactions that are just completely not like normal.
Check it out later.
Yes. Hello, I was wondering if you need a good drawer. No? Well, thank you for your time. Nowhere in the Bible does Jesus have a sword fight. Anyway.
Probably true.
Yeah, he gets a lot of people asking him to design stuff for free, and then when he refuses to do it, they get mad at him. So anyway, if you want to laugh, go read 27B/6. Okay,
All right.
now it is time to roll the dice and to give away a thing. So here we go. 3, 2, 1. Why don't girls poop? Woo! Congratulations. Why is your name that? What I want to know. I mean, honestly, girls do poop. If they didn't, they would explode.
We want to know why.
Okay. Anyway, congratulations. Why don't girls poop? You have won your very own Rage Rabbit. And you know the routine. You need to send an email to support@mysterious.design, include your name, your mailing address, do all that in a format that doesn't cause us to pop off our rage heads, and do it within 24 hours, and we will send you your very own Rage Rabbit.
We will, because we're nice like that.
Yay! Okay, it's question and answer time. Where's the question and answers?
Oh. Did you print them? Did you bring them?
Oh, I did print them. I just didn't bring them into the room. Sorry.
Slacking. I didn't slack off or do anything wrong with the PC setup this morning.
Oh man, listen to you. Listen to you talk as if you're the baby Jesus of live streaming and never sinned. I don't know about that. Okay. Maybe I'll put this over here.
Maybe. All right. So this is the Better Dangerous Than Meek Patreon post. What was going on in that? That was the latest one.
It's this one. Web review. Okay.
Okay. So if we let myself go back and read that.
I'm going to go get the physical pages while you do that.
Really?
Then I won't be able to... Okay, never mind. Go ahead.
It's fine. Juan Mendoza. This reminds me of when Alice can engage hysteria, where momentarily she can inflict more damage and take attacks without being harmed. I think a couple of people said that this image kind of reminds them of the hysteria box, whatever, from Alice.
So the whole point of this Better Dangerous Than Meek post was that I wrote a big blob of text here explaining why you should be dangerous as opposed to meek when it comes to living in the world, because if you leave yourself vulnerable, then people who are embracing their inner shadow, maybe even consumed by their inner shadow, can come and take advantage of you. There are a lot of people out there who talk about this, about, you know, don't allow yourself to be so timid and nice that you become a victim. So I wrote a bit about this because I had a lot of personal experience with this, not only in my own timidity, but also in watching people in my family allow themselves to be run over, sometimes literally, and because they were too timid to defend themselves.
All right. Grayson came.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm going to go get the printout version because otherwise I can't see the comments. So you hold on a second. It's on the printer in there. I'll be right back.
Okay, I'll wait. Not really. Grayson came. Maybe hysteria is the full manifestation of Alice's shadow, but they also go on to say we do indeed live in soft times compared to other periods of history. Interesting. Could that Could the rage box from the original Alice be the actual unlocking of full shadow?
Well, I mean, remember, she is Shadow Alice in those games. Rage Box is just what it says. It's rage. It's the full tapping into of the emotion of rage. So, yeah, anyway.
All right.
Keep going with the comments there.
Keep going. Wendy J. Interesting thoughts about being sheltered from your inner shadow. I feel the same way. Thankfully, I learned to embrace the shadow and learn from it, rather than deny it. Ooh,
That is necessary.
Wendy sounds sinister
And
now.
sometimes it takes a painful encounter, one in which our shadow is not out in the open, for us to realize that it is necessary to transform.
All right. Sayasha says, thank you for these little insights where you get the ideas for these games. I am very sorry for your sisters. I too grew up very sheltered, and it nearly broke me the first time the world showed its uglier face. A danger of being sheltered.
Yeah, I mean, that was something I mentioned in the text here, and there are a lot of stories in fairy tales that make mention of this, and not just fairy tales, but in like Greek mythology and things like that. I mean, Snow White is the famous one, where the Maleficent character comes to her christening, and the parents reject her, and of course Maleficent kind of represents, well, it's hidden in her name, right? She Mal is where we would get like malintent, that she is the manifestation of darkness and evil. But by pushing her out and shielding the child from her, it sets the child up later in life to be taken advantage of. And of course, what happens to Snow White is she falls in love with the first cute guy that she meets, and then she, goes into a coma. No. But these tales are in all of our fiction forever. But of course, we live in an era now where parents do overprotect their children, and they end up being not well prepared as a result.
Okay. Moving on to the Keanu Reeves in Alice post.
All right.
Yeah. Rugner's Custom Creations, always talking. I too love the visual symmetry of that picture, I guess. It is quite symmetrical. And I think nixing the stained glass face was a good idea.
Yeah, in his original version of this image, this Jesus face, I felt like kind of clutters up. Sorry, Jesus, I'm not trying to would never say that you clutter anything up, but in this particular render, I think your face needs to get out of there. So anyway, Omri said he's going to work on that background. And I believe that the symmetry that's being referred to is the symmetry between this scene and the scene later in the game. You can see them side by side here. So the idea is that one is submerging and the other one is being pulled out. And I know that Omri made the comment like, oh, the priest and the hatter should be on the same side, but I actually feel like, no, they shouldn't. That was one of my comments. They should not be on the same side because they are on the opposite sides of the looking glass. So one should be a reflection of the other. And I'm hoping that they will leave it in this format.
All right. Karma Chameleon simply says, can't wait for more. Cool. Clearly enjoying the Patreon posts there. Grace and Kem mirroring Rugner's Custom Creations. This is Keanu Reeves as Arthur Liddell. I dig it, but also loves the symmetry with the art. Excellent stuff. Austin Cook mentioning visual symmetry again, but what else do they say? I do think to maybe further tie in the Hatter themes with Priest, perhaps add some of the symbols on his hat in the windows along with the gear shapes. So maybe making it a little more obvious.
Well, that's
Austin
what
suggests.
I think that's, like I said, Omri has said he's going to update this stained glass in the background, and it's going to be more of the Queen's motif, but you can see, like, I think this was my edit where I had added the skulls and stuff kind of hiding in the background there.
Yeah.
So I do want to see a few more kind of subliminal hints to the theme of these scenes, but also the connection between the submerge and the emerge.
Okay. Not sure what this is. Felipe Bedoya says, as per usual, Ponytail Alchemist is best alchemist.
All right.
All right. But they also go on to just say they're loving the Keanu meme. and wish you could get him to voice the father.
All right.
If only. If only,
Who
Felipe.
knows? Maybe he'll see what we're doing here and he'll pop up. Maybe that's the press release that's coming out next week.
I mean, he clearly doesn't mind doing game stuff.
Hmm.
But, yeah, there you go. Who's this? This is a new name. Don't know who this is. Sorry. Gary Anifei Kusanagi Macy.
All right.
Okay. Absolutely incredible work. Love the imagery mirroring the priest with the Hatter. And for some reason could imagine the Hatter pulling Alice out of a large teacup as a mirror instead of being placed in baptism water.
Yeah, so the thing is, you don't pull her out of a teacup because in this scene she's shown to escape from the snow globe. So if you've been following along, you'll know that the snow globe, I'm not going to be able to make this work. I already know I won't be able to make this work, but I'm going to try anyway.
Kaboom!
There should be some sort of a search button. Nah,
Where is it? It's at the bottom. It's a little...
it's not going to work. Let's see. Snow. Is it one word or two that it's been spelled as inside of here? Snow globe prototype. Ooh, this is even a merch design thing. There's no updates. How about here?
Snow globes, they're never going to happen. We can't ship something that fragile internationally.
There's a bunch of text here. No snow globe ever got done. No, we can't do snow globes. They weigh too much and they're too easy to break. And it looks like somebody started work on a little section here to have like a snow globe prototype, but it just didn't happen. So I don't know. I can't find a snow globe image. Anyway, the whole point I was trying to make was that she cannot be pulled out of a teacup because she's escaping from the snow globe. And so no.
So there you go, Gary Macy. There's your answer. Next, we're moving on to Turkey in the Oven Attempt 2.
All right.
I believe this was called Attempt 2 because the first time you tried to post the update, it
broke.
failed.
Yeah, there was something going wrong with Patreon on that day, so
All right.
I thought it was going to eat my whole post, but it didn't. But yeah, this is in reference to Alice as the turkey in the oven. Now, so something happened here. Look, this face I am much more on board with.
It'd be different.
It is different, and I feel like this one's better. Right?
Yeah, bring up...
I'm not sure why they felt it necessary. Oh, no. Yeah, this is hugely different. This is like, who farted? And this one's like, the house is on fire. Let's get out of here. So, yeah.
Do we know which one came first?
No, the Who Farted is the most recent one.
Really?
So, yeah. Because this is Joey's most recent update version where she's added in these cross beams and all this fire stuff. So you can see quite a few things that are a little different here. I'm a bigger fan of
I believe I am also a bigger fan
of the not Who Farted version of the face.
Yes.
This is probably Omri that did this one. And I actually, when I saw this, I thought this image was done because you'll also notice that she's not so completely consumed in fire. But when you come back here, even this section in the background here,
there is more.
There is more fire. So I don't know, I'm a little confused, but that's fine.
All right.
That's fine.
That's fine. Well, Grayson Kem just wished you a great Thanksgiving week. Thanks, Grayson. Austin Cook is very excited to see the christening scene. To be honest, it's something so different in Alice's world, seeing something from her life before. I guess.
Yeah, well, I had uploaded a bit of the reference art for the christening scene. That was one of them. This, whatever the Superman supervillain was, from Superman getting christened in the Queen's gown. Yeah, I'm happy that those scenes are in there. I think we may even end up wanting to try to insert a few more of those flashbacks to her life prior to the fire.
Okay. Felipe Bedoya mentioning the alchemist again. Does anyone know what he's talking about?
I think he likes... There was an image where she's got a ponytail that I think he's referring to. So that's probably all it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sarah Kakzor just loves the idea, says it's awesome. Guess talking about the fire thing or the baptism thing, one of them. Yeah.
Somebody in the comments on YouTube saying, God, fix the screen, please. It's all green. Hey, guy, go over to Twitch. We cannot control whatever horrible thing is happening there on YouTube. We're sorry for it. Twitch is not broken, so please go to Twitch instead.
We will update on YouTube the correct recorded video later.
There you go.
So, yeah. Nicholas Brokaw, loving the ideas for the christening scene. Hope the team and all the insane children have a wonderful week. Thank you very much, Nicholas.
Yeah, and I saw somebody in the chat say, did we have a nice Thanksgiving? I actually started off today's stream by saying, yes, we had a nice Thanksgiving. So thanks for asking, and hope you did too.
Yeah. Okay, moving on to the Who Needs a New Desktop Background post. So I believe this was the fire one? No, what's this one?
This was the scene from inside the church. This is the cathedral. And yeah, I think this is currently my desktop background. It's a good piece of art.
It's a good piece of art, and it's a huge file size.
It's massive.
Very detailed. You can zoom right in. Go in. Let's take a look at Caterpillar.
You can look right up the caterpillar's nostrils. Hello. It is a massive file. Yeah. And yeah, that's over on Patreon. You can go and have a look.
Celtic Kitty reminds them of Silent Hill, and I love that. Guess, there's a lot of blacks there. There's a lot of smoke, sooty looking stuff, which is what Silent Hill was supposed to be. Like one of those coal-fired towns.
I see that from time to time. I'll post something up on Instagram, and they'll be like, "Oh, this reminds me of fill in the blank, some sort of horror or whatever surreal thing." And I'm like, "Yeah, well, they're all kind of in the same genre." So,
Sarah Heist says, "Stunning story, just as much as the art piece. Perfect compliment. Well done all round." Thanks, Sarah. Josie Howarth, so much imagery in this, love it. Karma Chameleon calls it gorgeous. Montiferium says, so much pain and love. Thank you.
It's pretty scary there. Just a reminder, Martin, we only have 10 minutes until the end of the stream.
Geez.
So
well, let's
maybe
just
crank through
quick
the
look.
Yeah.
Love it. Rai Sora is embracing it. There was another one, evolution of an illustration, but there was only 2 comments on that. So I think people
let's go have a quick look at it. Evolution. Isn't that evolution?
No, it's evolution.
I don't think that it is. I believe it's evolution.
I'm playing Jurassic World Evolution right now. So yeah.
So this was where I kind of showed the evolution of this image that Norm was working on. So there was the first initial sketches, which, outside the context of the description that you would find in our Monday narrative kind of overview, you may not understand what's going on in these. I think this was initially the work that was done by Norm, and that then turned into a couple of different variations where we talked back and forth about how to make this scene communicate better what was going on, because there were some versions of this where it wasn't very clear that it was even Hatter falling, or that the walrus was even in the image. So that was where he went and sketched in these hands. And of course, when you start to get a sense of what it is you're seeing here, this is an over the shoulder as Hatter's falling off this the side of this building with Alice up there looking down. It's a complicated image, and of course we showed off the full sort of updated version of that today. I think this has had a little bit of improvement done to the art. I mean, in terms of just the lines have been kind of reinforced.
Did you keep saying Hatter?
That's not Hatter. That's Carpenter.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Sorry. Carpenter falling off the building with the walrus there. And there's his foot. It looks like he could like grab and pick things up between his toes.
Probably could.
Can you grab and pick things up between your toes?
Guess.
I'm pretty good at it.
Right.
I think that like if I'm scared to say this because then it'll happen, but if ever like I lost my arms, I could probably get around with just my feet. I'm fairly pedodexterous.
That almost sounds terrible.
Well, remember, ped is your you go to see a podiatrist. You don't laugh and be like, "Oh, are
I
you?"
might.
Okay, you probably would. But anyway, I feel like that Carpenter here could probably hammer things with his toes if necessary. It's a big gap in there.
It is.
Yeah, but he's got very, very nice structure to his nails and
Maybe
stuff.
he's got foot-based OnlyFans.
Maybe he does. He's probably like a foot model or something like that. All right.
Well, Austin Cook simply says, "Oh my gosh, so excited about these action images. Really love comic book stuff. Norm does." And Sarah
says,
Cactor says it looks like it's gonna be good.
Greg says, I look away for 2 minutes and this turns into some weird foot stream.
It did. You're not wrong.
Okay. All right. I think that's kind of brought us near to the end. Let's just go through really quick and make sure we haven't forgotten anything.
Right.
What did we have up here? We talked about you should go and check out 27B/6. It's funny. That's our Taobao shop. We don't care about that. That was proof that our live stream was going to be fast today. That's Twitter. That's a giant pile of burning trash. Did we need to talk about anything on Instagram? Probably not. I think all this stuff we covered today. There is one more new rabbit that we have here with us today, but Yen sent the little baby rabbits, little baby bunnies away that go inside the pocket there.
The stomach burster.
Yes.
Not a chest burster.
So this is Bun in the Bun. Bun in the Bun. Yes. It's basically a pregnant rabbit. And but I didn't want to show it off because she sent away my favorite part, which are the little bunnies that hide inside the belly there. We'll show it off next time when they come back.
Look forward to that next stream.
Yes, you can look forward to that next stream. We talked about Patreon stuff. We won't do the thing yet. Yeah, I think that's it. We talked about the narrative outline. I did kind of half-ass announce the thing that's going to happen probably next week. That is the press release that's coming, but I can't say anything about, but that's very exciting.
Do we know when next week? Is it like this time next week? It's going to be Thursday or something?
I don't know.
Right. Sometime next week.
Yes. So that's about it. SpongeBob24 says, American, have you and Martin ever considered making a book series about the Alice Madness Returns series, like explaining things that were not explained in the game? Not really, but there is kind of book like that, which is the art of Alice Madness Returns, and in the presentation of all the art and stuff that went into the production of the game, there are a lot of stories in there about why certain decisions were made and things like that. But I've said in the past, a lot of these questions I prefer not to answer because I think the game is more fun when it's filled with little mysteries as opposed to like having every single question answered. So
Leash, however you pronounce that scary monster. Susie Brown will return as Alice's voice actress.
Yes, if we get the game into production before everyone dies, then yes.
She has voiced interest.
She has voiced interest to voice Alice. Yes, I've talked to her.
Did she voice it in Alice's voice?
No, she didn't. But I have talked to her about it, and to Roger Jackson, and to a whole bunch of other people who were involved with the production on the first and second games. And all those people, where they're able, they are interested in rejoining the effort. So yes.
All right.
01020300 says, will you make Alice novel? There may be a novel that comes out at some point, but I don't have any real plans or control on that right now. But we are going to make not a novel, but we're going to make a giant PDF book out of the design Bible. So that is all the content you see here. If you want an Alice novel, in some sense, you go and download this PDF when we put it up over on Patreon, and that'll give you, how many pages is that? Like 183 pages of stuff to read, filled with art. So if you're into reading, then there you go.
There you go, indeed.
Have you considered making an Alice plushie, says Apple Juice? Yes, but we can't do that because we would get sued by EA. So no, we don't.
Yes.
Yeah, we don't get to make like direct, obvious stuff related to the Alice franchise without some sort of license to do that, and we don't have license to do that
yet.
SpongeBob says, sorry, last question. When you look for workers, how do you hire them, and how do you look? It scrolled off the page. Where did it go?
For voice
Oh.
actors.
And how do you look for voice actors? How do we? It depends. Usually, we find people who are going to work for us either because they're friends with people who already work for us, or because they post something online, or they email us with a portfolio. When it comes to voice actors, we don't go looking for voice actors. Please don't send us anything. If you're like a musician or sound effects maker or voice actor, please don't send us stuff. We're not looking for that right now, and that's generally not how we go about finding those people. Anyway, when it comes to voice actors, we generally will use a company which produces voice content. They will have a big list of voice actors who are under their representation, and then when we send a script to them, they will actually read through it and try to suggest people who would make sense for certain roles, and then we'll get samples of their work, and then we listen to it, and then we choose, and da like that. So that's how we go about that. Okay.
All right. So we're gonna say the 4 things, and then we're kind of done.
I think that's it. Yeah. So, what are the 4 things? Martin, I'm gonna let you do this because my voice
The
is starting
4
to die.
things that we say at the end of every stream. If you'd like to support us and the making of Alice Asylum and just the stuff we do, there are 4 things. 2 of them free, 2 of them not. Here they go. Thing number 1, just sign up onto our mailing list. Simple pimple. You can look at all these things on AmericanMcGee.com, by the way. Yeah, please don't use fake email addresses. They don't help. So yeah, just go over there. Subscribe. Thank you very much. Follow all the social media stuff. Click the subscribes and the like buttons and all that fluff. As you can see, there's quite a lot there.
I don't know why it's in the shape of a T, but it is.
Because you added Tumblr last, perhaps?
I guess. But
Maybe.
why aren't they all anyway? It just bothers my OCD that they're not
Fix
like,
it later.
properly. I'll fix it later.
And of course, as you probably all know or have heard us talking about, we do have a Patreon. You can go over there, take a look at that. There are many tiers you could join at. Some really low ones, some really high ones. We give away prints and plushies and stuff for some of the higher ones. Head on over, take a look, see if anything tickles your fancy. And we also, every post we do over there does unlock after 3 days. So even if you're not a patron, you can still see the stuff we do. But it would be great if you did join as a patron.
The YouTube people are still confused about why it's all green. Somebody says close up on Kermit's asshole. It's not us, guys. YouTube, if you're seeing a giant green screen, then that's YouTube. There's something wrong over there. We don't know why.
Yeah.
For people on Twitch, everything looks normal, but we're going to end the stream in like 1 minute. But when we're done, we will upload the entirety of the stream will be uploaded onto YouTube, and you can watch it from beginning to end without any of that nonsense.
Yeah, we hope. Thing number 4. We do have a shop called Mysterious. So just do a search for Mysterious American McGee. You'll find it. It's full of cool stuff. Lots and lots of plushies. But there's also, we don't really have many t-shirts on there yet, do we?
No, this is coming now.
These are coming.
I think by the end of today even, where's the big, so this thing that I'm wearing, which is the Rage Rabbit, I'm very angry. That's coming. That's Angry Rabbit, and then a lot of the other ones like Shy and I don't know. They're all gonna reappear because we took them down because we got angry at Printful, and now they're all gonna come back. So,
but yeah, plushies, clothes, jewelry, enamel pins, wallets, skulls. There's a lot of skull stuff over there. It's a shop o' curiosities. So have a look.
Bammy Sam 94 says, I think it's great you guys have such low levels for Patreon, so inclusive. Yeah, you only need to spend $1 a month to be an insane child. You know, I think a lot of people don't understand, like, all the Patreon money goes directly to the artists who are working on Alice Asylum pre-production. Everything else, like Martin, mine, my wife, other people like Jen who are working for Mysterious, my company, they all get paid by the sales that are generated on the Mysterious website, the online retail shop. And actually, Mysterious is a much bigger business for us than, say, Patreon in terms of the money that comes in. So if you do want to support the art, do go over to Patreon and support, because that's where like Alex and Omri and Jen, Joey and Norm and all of them get their pay. So if you want to pay them, go there. If you want to pay me and put food on my table, or my wife, support the work that she's doing, then go to Mysterious. Because it's kind of split up like that.
Mm-hmm. All right. There you go.
Prize time, somebody says.
We did. I didn't hear the or whatever noise it makes.
Right.
So, yeah.
Well, we're going to give away yet another one of these. Not that.
Not that one.
We're going to give away another Rage Rabbit. There it is.
Yay.
The last and final Rage Rabbit for the day. What's the question, Martin?
Speaking of rage rabbits, when was the last time and what did you do when you lost your shiz? When you just snapped?
I got in trouble this morning because I yelled at my wife's mom. So my wife, Yen, her mom lives with us. That's grandma for Lucky. And at 6 a.m. this morning, we were woke up by Lucky repeatedly screaming this very high-pitched, loud scream. But he only does that when he's around his grandma. When he's around us, he doesn't do it. But it's this over and over. It's like 6 a.m. So I opened the door to our bedroom because he'd spent the night on her bed last night. I opened the door to my bedroom and I just yelled down, like, control him, in Chinese. And apparently the way I said it was too mean or something. So then I had to apologize to her later. So,
all right.
Yeah.
I honestly can't remember. I never snapped. Yeah, I can't remember the last time I just flipped out at something or someone. Doesn't really. I don't think it counts the time I snapped my Bloodborne disc. I was just angry at the game.
Forgotten Valor says, I punched a guy with a wrench because that was what was in my hand at the time. Ouch.
I was going to say, did you punch him with a wrench? Or did the
he
guy have a wrench?
Yeah, that could be read either way. Broke my sis's headphones, says Miss Crimson
Good.
Mischief.
I'm an angry cleaner. It'd be anxiety. There's like polishing, like.
Yeah.
Weird.
Mott Minx says, I discovered my ex was cheating on me and I cry like a lot. Yep, that kind of
That'll
betrayal
do it.
will mess you up. I very much know that. Go take a shower and scream. I'm an angry cleaner, says B Anxiety.
I said.
I like that. I was angry at work, says Tammy Bammy Sam 94. All right.
So a lot of people doing a lot of angry things.
Well, we have made a rabbit for you. And I want to just point out the reason why the rabbit has this bandaged, sad face underneath. It's not for no reason at all. It's for a very good reason, because it turns out that rage isn't a real emotion. Rage is a mask. So when you feel rage, the idea is you should dig down deep and try to figure out what it is under the rage that you're really feeling. If it, in the case of like you find out someone's cheating on you, then the proper emotion that you're probably really feeling is something like betrayal, right? And if you can come to terms with the actual emotion that's driving the rage, and then it will help you to dissipate the rage. So it's actually written on the page here about this rabbit. And that's why the rabbit is designed the way it is. To be a reminder that rage is one thing, but you should dig down deep underneath the rage to figure out where you're hurt exactly, identify that and work on it, and it will help your rage to go away. So there you go.
There you go.
And
indeed.
with that, we're going to roll it.
Roll it.
And we're going to see who wins. It's Stitched Heart 13.
Yay.
Yeah, congratulations, Stitched Heart 13. I'm having a difficult time talking now. My tongue is getting
I'll
tired.
say it. You have won a Rage Rabbit. Congratulations. Send an email to support@mysterious.design. Name, address, phone number. Tell us what you won. Do it all in a proper legible format with your address on separate lines. That'd be nice. Yeah, do that within the next 24 hours or you may very well not get your thing.
Or you'll make us angry.
Mm.
I really like this as a prop when we're streaming. I think he should be here all the time.
You keep putting fluff into the atmosphere.
Yeah, but if I do this enough, then it'll all go away. Okay, that's it. I think we're done for today. So thank you all for joining us on this fantastical Kermit's Butthole live stream. For those of you that were watching on YouTube,
Sorry about that. We will upload the video. You'll get to see it properly.
alrighty, and we will hopefully be back. Maybe not in 2 weeks, because in 2 weeks is my birthday. And I think my wife is planning some sort of excursion for my birthday, but we'll see. We will keep
Dirty
everyone
weekend away.
dirty.
Yeah.
What's wrong with you? You're weird. All right. We're taking our kid with us.
Oh.
Yeah. So anyway, I think that's it for today. We're gonna go and have some lunch, and the rest of you go get bent and jib it up and all that other
Get
good
out
stuff.
the kitchen and stuff.
I don't know. You press
Oh,
it.
there's so many buttons. See you later.
Bye bye.
The world is full of friends with fur who fill our lives with woofs and purrs, who seek our love and pets and snacks. And if you're cruel, they won't fight back. Well, if you harm your dog or cat, well, Scruffy Bumps does not like that. He moves about through darkened places, learning names and hunting faces.
Scruffy Bumps loves all his friends, and Scruffy Bumps will take revenge. And Scruffy Bumps knows where you are, and Scruffy Bumps is never far away.
Get your Scruffy Bumps at mysterious.americanmcgee.com. The world is full of friends with fur who fill our lives with woofs and purrs, who seek our love and pets and snacks. And if you're cruel, they won't fight back. Well, if you harm your dog or cat, well, Scruffy Bumps does not like that. He moves about through darkened places, learning names and hunting faces.
Scruffy Bumps loves all his friends, and Scruffy Bumps will take revenge. And Scruffy Bumps knows where you are, and Scruffy Bumps is never far away.
Get your Scruffy Bumps at mysterious.americanmcgee.com.